Welcome everyone to the study guide review video for the 7th grade Unit 3 quiz. Question 1. A pizza has a diameter of 8 centimeters. Jeannie loves the crust. How many centimeters of pizza crust are there? Express your answer both exactly in terms of pi and rounded to the nearest hundredths place. Okay, so here we're going to use the formula that the circumference is equal to pi times the diameter. So to find the circumference, I multiply pi times my diameter, which is 8. Okay, so my exact answer here is going to be 8 pi centimeters. So that's like the most correct exact answer because pi is an irrational number that goes on forever with no repeating pattern. Anytime we're using like 3.14 or we're putting it into a calculator, ultimately we're rounding. So that's the exact answer, but a rounded answer is often helpful too. So we can also do 3.14 times 8 to get what the circumference is about equal to, because we know pi is about 3.14. And we'll get 25 and 12 hundredths. So there we go. Okay, so you need both of those. And they're basically the same. One is just slightly more exact than the other. Question 2. A complete roll of tape has a diameter of 16 pi centimeters. What is the diameter and radius of the roll of tape? Include units. Okay, so I have a roll of tape and the circumference is 16 pi centimeters. I want to find the diameter and radius. So again, we know that the circumference is equal to pi times diameter. Here we know that the circumference is 16 pi. So to find the diameter, we just have to divide 16 pi by pi. So you don't have to write it out this way, but it's like the way we'll write it out when we'll solve equations. And we'll get that the diameter has to be 16 centimeters. Okay, and so, right, and we think about this in the other direction. 16 times pi is 16 pi. So you multiply the diameter times pi to get the circumference. And then to get from the radius to the diameter to the radius, we're going to divide by 2 because the radius is half of the diameter. So we have something like that. Cool. Question 3. This circle has a circumference of 30 centimeters. Which of these is its diameter? A, 30 pi centimeters, B, 30 divided by pi centimeters, C, 15 divided by pi centimeters, and D, 30 centimeters. So again, pretty straightforward. This is like the one above it. If the circumference is 30 centimeters, then we know circumference is pi times diameter. If we want to find the diameter here, we have to divide by pi. So we divide both sides by pi. And right, you could just do 30 divided by 3.14 on a calculator, but that would give you the rounded answer. So this is giving me the exact answer. Cool. So these two questions are the medium level, and those are testing that you can find the diameter and the radius when you know the circumference. The mild level is finding the circumference when you know the radius and the diameter. And then the spicy level questions is asking to understand this relationship between the radius, diameter, and circumference as like a constant of proportionality. So here's a graph of the number of rotations of a circular wheel and the distance traveled. What is the constant of proportionality in this relationship between the number of rotations of the wheel and the distance traveled? Okay, so we're talking about a wheel and rotations, right? So a rotation is when you spin a wheel all the way around. So when you spin a wheel all the way around, it's like you're unraveling a piece of tape, and you're getting the circumference. Okay, so this is related to the circumference. But I mean, you don't, in this question, need to understand that. In this question, you just are finding the constant of proportionality, just like we did last unit, right? We're saying, what do we multiply the x by to get the y? And we can see clearly here we're multiplying by pi, just like we do in general when we have think about the relationship between the diameter and the circumference. Okay. Yep, so 2 times 2 pi. You could also like divide 3 pi divided by 3. It's just going to be pi. So that's it. Pi is the constant of proportionality here. Cool. All right, 5-1. This is back to a mild level question, but it leads into a spicy level question. A wheel has a radius of 7 inches. Determine its circumference. So again, circumference is pi times diameter. If my radius is 7 inches, then that means the diameter is going to be double that. It's going to be 14 inches. Because we know the diameter is 2 times the radius. So the circumference is going to be pi times the diameter, pi times 14. They don't tell you here whether you have to write it exactly or if you're going to round it. So it doesn't matter. I mean, it's not a bad idea to do both. So that's what I'll do here, but I will tell you on the test as long as you have one of them. I will give you credit for this question because you just got to see what they're asking. Cool. Okay, and then finally complete the table showing how far this wheel travels for each rotation. Then write the constant of proportionality for this relationship. Okay, so in one rotation, the wheel is spinning all the way around. So in one rotation, you're going the circumference number of inches. So this distance is like the circumference. And again, it's the explanation for that, right, is if you have a circle and then like this is where you start and then the wheel goes all the way around back to where you start. It's like you're going around the circumference. So the distance you travel is going to be the circumference of that circular wheel. Okay, so in one rotation, we already figured it out above. The circumference is 14 pi inches. Okay, or you could write 43.96. That would also work. So then you do this. Now this is a proportional relationship, right? So now we sort of found this constant of proportionality. How do we get from 1 to 14 pi? We multiply by 14 pi. So here, if we have 5 rotations, we're going to multiply that by 14 pi. 5 times 14 is 70, so this becomes 70 pi. And then you'll do 30 times 14 pi, which will be 420 pi inches. Okay, just quickly, I'll say that the other correct version of this would be not in terms of pi. You could have 43.96 inches, and that's what you're multiplying by, which is 219.8 inches. And then you could do the same thing for 30, and you'd get 1,308.8 inches. Okay, so both of those tables are right. So the constant of proportionality here is 14 pi, or 43.96 inches, which means that the wheel travels that same thing, 14 pi inches for each rotation around the wheel. Okay, so it's like giving you the circumference, but that's how much it's going to travel, how much the wheel will travel for one rotation. So that's the spicy level question, and again, it's trying to get us to recognize that there is a proportional relationship here between all the different variables. Okay, I said the last one before, that is the last one that's required, but there will be a bonus extra credit question on the test. I haven't had one of these before, so I'm just going to show you this. Here you're supposed to find the total perimeter of the figure. So that's the distance around the outside. Okay, and we have this weird, we call it a composite figure. It's when you're putting multiple different shapes together to form a figure. So here we're told that each unit is worth 5 centimeters. So this is 5 centimeters and this is 5 centimeters. So that is 10 centimeters. And this is 10 centimeters. Okay, and then we can also conclude that this is 10 centimeters. And this. So what we have to do here is recognize that this in pink is half of a circle or a semicircle. And this is another half of a circle, a semicircle. And together, they would make one full circle. So what we're trying to find isn't the area, we're trying to find this perimeter or the outside of those circles. So we're trying to find the circumference of this circle. Okay, so to find the circumference is equal to pi times diameter. We see here that the diameter here is 10. So the total circumference of this circle that's like split in half is going to be 10 pi. This section would be half of this. That would be 5 pi centimeters. And that would be half of it, right? And then together it's 10 pi centimeters. So then we can add all those pieces together. We have this 5 pi centimeters plus 10 centimeters plus 5 pi centimeters plus 10 centimeters. And this is going to be exactly 10 pi plus 20 centimeters. That would be the exact answer. Or we could do 10 times 3.14, which is going to be 31.4 plus 20. So, or it's about 51.4 centimeters. Okay, so it's a little confusing, but if we understand the idea of perimeter and the idea that the circumference is the same as the perimeter of a circle, then we're just going to add those different perimeters together. Awesome. And then on the last page, that's just how I'm going to grade you and how each question corresponds with the different competency and level of difficulty for the skill. Cool. All right, good luck, everyone.